And it is now time for me to bring on our next guest. Have we got Jimmy?
Hi, Katie.
Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Welcome
How are you?
to the show. I'm doing okay, given how much sleep I've had, relatively. I'm doing okay. So the description I have for Jimmy says that you are a maths teacher who specialises in turning caffeine into maths. That sounds about right for most mathematicians, I guess.
I think most mathematicians would fall under that kind of description, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, is there anything to add to that?
No. I'm a very boring person in reality. It's a pretty good,
accurate description, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're based near Leeds, is it?
Yes.
I say that like I don't know. Jimmy's like an old friend from uni, and we have the same birthday. What are the chances? What are the chances of that? Answers in the chat. No, don't bother. It's fine. We know. We're both mathematicians. Yeah, you're based near Leeds.
Yes. So went to uni in Manchester, which is where I met several people, and ended up in Leeds and currently teaching in Bradford.
Excellent. So you brought us a magic trick.
I have, and I've brought my long-suffering wife to act as a pair of hands.
Right.
So big thank you to her for waking up so early on her birthday. Let me change the camera so we can see the trick.
What are the chances?
A massive convergence of birthdays today.
Yeah.
So this trick is called, it's called Bob Hummer's Free Card Mathematical Monty. And I will show you. I've got a pack of regular cards there, and we're going to need 3 of these cards. So we're just going to shuffle through until we get an ace, 2, and a 3. An ace, a 2, and a 3. So I'm going to put those there where you can see them, hopefully. Let me change the camera so you can see a bit better, perhaps. How's that? Can we see? Are they reversed?
Good. It's potentially reversed.
How's that?
That's unreversed. Excellent.
Right way around.
I like
okay.
It.
So you've probably seen this sort of thing in whatever popular fiction you consume. It's where someone shuffles some cards around and people have to follow the queen or something along those lines. That sort of trick.
Yeah.
What we're going to do though, we're going to do this slightly differently. I'm not going to be watching. So when I ask, my lovely assistant is going to select one of these cards. So for example, if she selected the 2, she would then switch the other 2 over and flip all 3. She's going to do that while I'm not watching, so I won't be able to tell which card is where. But with some very carefully applied maths, I'll be able to determine in 2 goes exactly where her card is. Okay. So I'm hoping this is going to work because I'm still about half asleep. So I'm going to turn around now. Hang on. So everyone can see I'm turning around, not facing the camera, not facing the screen. Going to go read a book or something. So select one card, flip it over, swap the other 2 around, and then flip them both over. Let me know when you're done. Okay?
That's done.
Okay. So, a very quick shuffle. And I'll place those here. So, after having seen the cards just an ace 2 3, I haven't seen which order those cards ended up in. I'm going to have a guess now at which one my lovely assistant picked. And if it's not correct, I'm going to get it on the second try.
Okay.
So I'm going to say she picked this one. She didn't pick that one. she picked this one. Is that your card? Yes, it worked.
That is the card. That's the card that was picked.
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. I mean, you say you got it in 2 guesses. It wasn't like you guessed and then, you know, you knew it was wrong, right?
Oh yeah, I knew it was wrong. It was that's the magic. That's the heart of it. And
okay.
Just because.
So can we talk through the steps of this again? Because I want to see if people can kind of figure out a little bit of what's happened here. Do you want to kind of go through the steps once more?
Absolutely. So, should we do it again slowly and just we'll talk through it? So I'll turn around, pick a card and flip it over. Okay. Then switch the 2 cards you didn't pick. Then flip them both over as well. Okay, done. Oh, we're done. Okay. So okay. I'm going to do mine.
I mean, is it okay if we can see a little bit of what you're doing now with this shuffle? Because it kind of happened off camera last time. Is
yes.
there a way you can kind of do it on camera for us?
Yeah, I will do this a bit more. And all I'm going to do is
okay. I see. We're giving them a bit of a shuffle.
Just a bit of a mix-up, you know. And then
okay, maybe that's a clue for anyone watching. Okay.
Okay. And then same again. I'm going to suggest, I have a feeling about this middle card. And that was it. It was the 2.
Excellent. Excellent. So like, yeah, if you like, you have a guess and it's wrong, you know it's wrong, so you can then say which one it was. So that's interesting.
Yes.
So I think if we leave people with that combination of facts and information, that might be a good point for people to have a think about this trick and see if they can figure something out. It's kind of a nice one. It's sort of like it's almost a puzzle to sort of figure out what you've done here. Because I know sometimes with these mathematical tricks, you look at it and you're like, oh, I've just realized what it is. It's something really obvious. But this one, I think there's a bit more kind of, there's something going on behind the scenes here.
There is something going on behind the scenes here. It's quite nice. It was invented by a guy called Bob Hummer, who was a magician in the, he wrote a few books in the 40s and 50s. And he was a friend of Martin Gardner, who maths fans will know is a serious recreational mathematician. And I believe it might have been Martin Gardner who described him as this, but someone described him as a top-notch mathematically inclined magician. So there is some relatively simple maths happening behind the scene that makes this trick work, which is quite nice.
Cool. So if we give people a little bit longer to have a think about this, as we've been saying throughout, you know, if you think you figured it out, don't just put the entire explanation of the trick in the chat, but, you know, enjoy the smug feeling that comes from knowing that you figured it out. And maybe if you've got any sort of hints or maybe partial things that you think might be important or relevant or could give other people a hint to work it out, then feel free to share those in the chat if you would prefer. In the meantime, Jimmy, anything to plug? I've sort of lost patience with the whole, so what have you been up to lately angle. Just what are we plugging? Come on, what have we got?
I have nothing to plug. Support the charity. Go to the link because it is a difficult time for a lot of people, and you know, if you're in a position to be able to help, it's a wonderful thing to be able to do. So yeah, that's what I'll plug. That was a very nice duck and point.
Yeah, this is I've developed the technique now because my hat is too tall. Without the hat on, I wouldn't need to duck at all. But with the hat, the donation link just crashes the hat very slightly unless I'm, you know what I mean? I can't.
It's a nice way to highlight the link though. The slight movement does sort of.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Yeah. Is it true you also, I mean, I'm asking this as though I don't just totally know the answer to this question, but you know, not 90% of interviews, that's what's going on anyway. Is it true you are a dungeon master?
I am. I don't know if you can see the piles of oh
wow, is that actual stuff?
There's actual stuff there.
Stuff? So if anyone isn't aware, Dungeons and Dragons is the best thing ever. and Jimmy is a dungeon master who runs a Dungeons and Dragons game locally. I mean, I guess that's presumably gone on to a video call now.
Yeah, that's currently gone
in the
to
current climate. I think we're all learning
call.
how to use video calls for the purposes of quizzes and D&D. I think that's essentially what everyone's doing at the moment.
Hence, being able to do all sorts of camera things, because this is actually my my dice camera setup. So
of course.
That's where I would normally be doing all sorts of fun dice rolls.
Excellent. Oh,
of course, I have 2d20s to hand because
beautiful. Yep.
You never know when you're going to need polyhedral dice.
Absolutely never know when you're going to need d20s. Excellent. So I've not seen a huge amount of stuff coming in the chat, but do you want to kind of talk us through the trick sort of a bit at a time, or kind of how it all goes?
We'll talk a little bit through. I'm going to try not to reveal too much because this is an actual magic trick, and that's how you get put in the Phantom Zone, like the guy who revealed the magic secrets in the 90s. So it's based on combinations and permutations with some other little bits thrown in. So basically, if you think about the number of cards we've got, when we shuffle them up, right, we have, let me put that somewhere you can see, we have a choice of 3 cards for each position, right? So we could have the ace there, the 2 there, the 3 there, we could have the 3 there, the 2 there, we could have that way around. So basically we've got 3 choices for the first card in the first position. And once we've got a card in the first position, we've got 2 choices for the card in the second position. And then once we've got that second card fixed, the last card is fixed. So that
so
limits.
3 times 2 times 1, I guess we've got combinations, or they are strictly permutations, right?
They are permutations. The horrible old maths teacher joke that a combination lock really should be a permutation lock, because if your combination lock is set to 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1 won't work. That's a combination.
That's true. Although some locks do, like there are some where you just have to put the right numbers in.
Ooh.
So those are actually combination locks. But people don't label them right. Yeah, I agree. So we're essentially saying there are 6 different ways the cards can be set up, and you have to try and pin down which one of those 6 it was, maybe?
Maybe,
a little bit. Because that might tell you something?
It might give you a hint. There's a way of reading whichever card you've selected first to give you a bit more information about what permutation you have ended up with, basically.
Okay, and the shuffle that you're doing, I'm gonna use finger quotes around the word shuffle.
Shuffle.
Because it didn't look completely shuffly to me. So you were taking the top card and putting it on the back, right?
Yes.
So that's going to give you a very specific type of permutation of the cards.
Yes.
And it might be something to do with how that permutation combines with the switch that happened before you could see what was going on.
I have a feeling this trick's been bugging you. Have you been trying to work this out?
I really have been trying to work this out. So we got sent a list through of all the tricks that people were doing, and Jimmy sent this through, and I was like, I'll go and look that up. And I watched a video of someone doing it, and I was like, like the mathematician in me is telling me that it's technically possible to work this out, but I couldn't quite exactly figure out how it all fits together. But I think it is a really nice little problem, and I'm imagining there are probably people watching at home who have just figured it all out completely. But yeah, it was
a nice one. It was I was trying to find I learned it when I was trying to find a simple-ish magic trick to use in a probability lesson to demonstrate that. We're starting off with, it was a simple probability suggestion for kids, and to demonstrate that actually the fact that the probability of me getting the correct card is a third doesn't mean it's going to be a third each time. Doesn't mean I'm going to get it right or wrong each time. Some randomness thrown in and actually stacking the deck in my favor a little bit was a nice demonstration of that. So I think I found it on Enrich or something along those lines, but then I forgot how to do it and forgot where I found it. So I kind of had to spend some time brute forcing it and trying to figure it out again.
Excellent.
And then unsuccessfully did that, and then actually found where I found it in the first place, and retaught myself, which was a nice fun experience. But it's a nice one to start with the permutation. It's a nice one to start introducing the factorial notation in.
Yeah.
Because by that point, kids have started getting used to seeing letters in maths and with algebra, and then you start throwing punctuation symbols in the two, and they just sort of have a little bit of a pause on that.
Yeah, I mean, technically plus and minus are punctuation symbols as well, right? They're on the same bit of the keyboard. So, you know, we should be used to the fact that maths can just basically grab and use whatever it needs in order to make things happen.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Yeah. So I guess, because I saw a video of this, I looked it up on YouTube based on the name of the trick. So it was called Bob Hummer's 3-Card Monty.
Yeah.
And I think it was like one of these sort of scam YouTube channels where they're like, oh, we're going to scam somebody. And I'm like, actually, mate, you're going to do some maths, but okay. And they're like, oh, we're going to do a trick on someone in a bar. And they've kind of really kind of reformatted it. So it's no longer about, numbers or cards or magic. It's like they had 3 bits of paper and they'd written words on the 3 bits of paper and things like that. So I guess it doesn't have to be playing cards.
No, it doesn't have to be playing cards. In fact, there was a when I was trying to figure out stuff to say about this trick, I went and bought one of Martin Gardner's Maths Magic books. And because I thought it had a description of this trick and a little more history, but it had a slightly different variation of this trick, actually. So I was becoming dangerously close to becoming an actual musician, because there are now magician, because there are now 2 tricks in my repertoire.
That's what you need, I heard.
Yeah. That's a stage show right there. But you can do a very similar sort of thing with just any free objects. So I don't know if you can. I don't know if you're willing to help me out here, Mary. No, lovely wife is nodding. So if I can find free objects, and being the nerd I am, it's going to be dice. So. There we go. There's a D4.
Okay, 4-sided dice. That's a tetrahedron. I know my polyhedron.
Hey, good work.
Polyhedra. Apparently I don't know my words. Also, it's 6 a.m, so
6 a.m. You can.
I'm doing pretty excused. Well.
Got a D6 and a
D20. Cube-shaped dice. And is that 20?
D20. Yeah.
D20. Icosahedron.
Zoom in a little bit on those.
I know all the words.
Oh.
Good.
Slightly different variation on this trick then. So we've got, let's call these positions 1, 2, and 3. Okay, positions 1, the ace.
Oh, that's 2, efficient. Nice.
Yeah. And 3. Right. I don't know. Can you still see those okay?
Yeah, I think so. I'll put you full screen so everyone can see them more easily. Yeah.
Real. And what I'd like you to do, I'm going to turn around, right? And what I'd like you to do is switch 2 of them over. So I'm not even going to touch them this time. Right? Switch 2 of them over, and just because I'm not going to watch them, because I'm not going to touch them and see anything, I'd like you to tell me which positions are switching. So if you switch 1 and 3, say 1 and 3. Right? So just as many times as you like. So I'm not even involved in this. Yeah. So as many times as you like, and stop when you get bored. Okay. So
1 and 3.
Okay.
2 and 3.
Right.
2 and 3.
Okay.
1 and 2.
Okay.
3 and 1.
Right.
And 3 and 2. Katie, do you want to do any switches?
I would say, yeah, let's switch 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy now.
I'm going to keep turning around. I'm going to keep facing the wrong way. And I want you to do one switch without telling me what it is. Okay, done?
Yeah.
Okay, then we're going to proceed exactly like we did to start with. So you're going to switch and tell me the switches until you get bored.
So 2 and 1.
Okay.
2 and 3.
Okay.
3 and 1.
Right.
I'm happy, Katie.
Yeah, I think that's good. I'm happy with that.
Okay. So just by looking at these, I can tell the one you selected, the one you switched when I wasn't looking, was the D6.
So it like that was the one that didn't move, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And that is it's another variation on that same idea of the permutations and just knowing what options, what permutations are available based on what we did there. I'm not going to take too much about it
because this is the thing that gets me about it. It's like, in some sense, you must have been following that. That must be quite difficult to do, or there's a trick to it, and I can't work out which. There's like something about it that makes it incredibly easy, or you're just really good at visualizing permutations in your head.
There is something about it that makes it incredibly easy.
Right, good. I mean, I'm going to assume both of those things are true, because it might be that you're also good at visualizing permutations in your head. I mean, who knows?
That is what I always say to my kids, anyway.
Yeah, I suspect there might be some maths helping you along there. So fantastic. Thank you for sharing these tricks with us. This has been a really nice little half hour. I realise it is quite early in the morning for some people. There are other people watching who maybe it isn't that early in the morning for, and I'd still appreciate you watching as well. Like, you're all very welcome. Especially welcome to anyone who's just come here because they've seen Matt Parker's video. So I don't know if you know, Jimmy, several hours ago, back in the early hours of the show, we had a guest, Matt Parker, who came and did the most incredible magic prediction trick, where he got a volunteer to come on the webcam and say, I think when you shuffle that deck, the top card is going to be the ace of spades. And the volunteer literally just picked the ace of spades, and Matt turned over the top card and it was the ace of spades. And it was the most incredible moment, which was preceded by about half an hour of other people trying to predict the card and getting it wrong. And we just had a constant stream of volunteers coming in, and we just kept going until we got it right. And I think we actually got it in like 12 goes, which is pretty good. So if anyone wasn't watching the stream at the time, I apologize for ruining the fact that you just watched this out of context video clip of Matt Parker correctly predicting a card. He was actually using probability. Like, there's a 1 in 52 chance of it working each time, and if you do it enough times, it should work. Somehow it happened in 12, which I think is not the most probable. Like, it is probably reasonably improbable that it would happen that quickly, but it was just a magical moment for all of us. And you know, I guess only Matt Parker can pull off that kind of magic trick. But this has been a really nice little trick, and I'm going to continue thinking about this. Hopefully everyone at home is as well. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Let me know if you figure it out. And
yeah, I'll be in touch.